Hi, my name is Rochelle, and I'm going to be talking about the nonprofit organization called March of Dimes. I'm going to start with a little bit of history about this organization. They've been around for about 80 years, and they were created because of Franklin Roosevelt's polio and actually led to finding a cure for polio. So after that, they started to change their focus, and now they focus on stopping birth defects, premature birth, and infant death. So just an overview about what we're going to talk about today. The main problem that March of Dimes focuses on is the fact that American women don't get the care that they receive when they're pregnant. They lack proper health care, and the infant mortality rate because of this is increasing, and so is the risk of preterm birth. Preterm birth means that the baby is born before 37 weeks. The March of Dimes campaign focuses on stopping these things: preterm birth, infant mortality rate, and infant death. And they do this by providing grants, promoting research, and they have campaigns across the world that help raise money for these causes. Some of the programs that they have are focused on finding a solution for these problems, and we'll talk about those in this presentation. So like I said, the main problem that March of Dimes focuses on is that American mothers don't get the prenatal care that they need during their pregnancy. A lot of this is because they don't have the proper health care, or they just don't have the proper education, so they don't really know what they need for their prenatal care. The United States does have the highest infant mortality rate, and this is a problem that March of Dimes focuses on, and I'll talk about the solutions that they have proposed later in this presentation. Preterm babies that do survive birth, they do have health problems later in their life. They have problems with breathing, sensory impairments, learning problems, and so by preventing preterm birth, March of Dimes will also prevent preterm babies from having these health problems later in their lives. This is a bar graph showing infant mortality rates in 2004 from the CDC, and it shows that the United States does have the highest infant mortality rate of about 7% per 1,000 live births. Japan here has the lowest, with about 3% per 1,000 live births. This is another bar graph showing infant mortality rates. These are the 5 leading causes of infant death in the United States. So number 1 would be congenital malformations. Short gestation and low birth weight comes in at number 2. SIDS, or sudden infant death syndrome, is number 3. And then maternal complications and unintentional injuries are 4 and 5. And so it actually shows the blue bar is from 2005, the gray bar is from 2014. And so you can see that the rates of each of these have decreased over time, but not by a lot. And so these problems are still present in the US. So some of the solutions that March of Dimes is working on to prevent these premature births and infant diseases is they're trying to raise awareness of the problem. They host marches called March for Babies, where people rally different places around the country, even around the world, and they march for the cause and try to raise money and raise awareness for this problem. March of Dimes also works for trying to give women who are pregnant the health coverage that they need, because this is one of the main problems, and this is why mothers don't get the prenatal care they need. And so if they have the health care they need, they'll be able to get the prenatal care they need. And then another thing they're working on is funding research to see how we can prevent these problems from happening. Why they're trying to look into why preterm birth happens, what causes it, and how they can fix it. And so they actually provide grants and funds to research facilities around the world. They just opened one in London, actually, their newest one. And the researchers there are working on finding a cure for preterm birth. So here are some of the benefits that March of Dimes has provided so far. Well, the first thing is that they began the prematurity campaign. That was their beginnings after finding a cure for polio. They award competitive grants to research facilities across the world to help them find a cure for preterm birth and find what's causing it. They also have education programs for mothers. Their program is called the Becoming a Mom Comenzando Bien program, and so it's a program that teaches mothers or mothers to be the care that they need before they have their child and after they have their child, what they need to do to make sure their child is healthy. They also invest money in mobile health centers. So after disasters, they have mobile centers that go to these disaster areas and make sure that pregnant mothers have the things that they need to make sure that themselves and their baby is safe after a disaster. And they are expanding their resources to developing countries because in these countries, preterm birth is at higher risk. And so by sending resources to these countries, they are decreasing preterm birth risk in them. They also are spreading the education, like I said, the specialized education programs in the United States and around the world. And they advocate around the world for health of women and children, specifically preterm babies. And so they sometimes these people don't have a voice, and so March of Dimes works on giving them a voice. This is an example of a situation where March of Dimes has affected a family. This is Brandon Kimball Jr., and he was born prematurely at 22 weeks old. And the Kimball family spent 130 days in the hospital fighting for their baby after he was born. And he did survive. And after that, the Kimball family served as the 2015 March of Babies Ambassador Family. And they say that March of Dimes is the reason that their baby is alive today. So, in conclusion, March of Dimes supports more than 75,000 families. They've been around for around 80 years now. And in order to continue their research, in order for them to continue supporting mothers or mothers-to-be and preemie babies, they need your support. Investments and donations help them continue their research, continue supporting mothers and supporting premature babies and helping to find a cure for preterm birth. Your investments and donations can pave the way for a better future for American families. And together, we can fight for healthier moms and healthier babies. Thank you.